How are you guys? You guys okay? Ready? Fantastic. Time. All right. Experimentation within our industry and on all levels is important in creating steps towards achieving better quality coffee that is both scalable and sustainable. Now, earlier this year, I was fortunate enough to travel to Burundi to run a small-scale experiment focused on increasing the body and the sweetness of a particular coffee. But instead of working with a single farmer, I found myself working with an entire hill, home to 735 coffee farming families, who, with the help of a company called Long Miles Coffee Project, produce unique and delicious coffee. And it is their coffee I've chosen to share with you guys today. Now, their home is called Munyinya Hill, and it sits between 1,800 and 1,900 meters above sea level. Over the years, farmers have planted many banana trees that are now serving as active shade trees, ensuring cooler and more stable daytime temperatures. Now, the soil composition of Munyinya Hill is unique. It's unlike its neighboring hills, which are normally characterized by a red color and a clay-like texture. Rather, Munyinya Hill has a light brown color and a sandy texture. Now, this, the agronomist tells me, allows the soil to be less acidic, meaning the plants can absorb more critical nutrients, such as magnesium and calcium. Now, these added nutrients, they allow the healthy development of the coffee cherry through a slow maturation. All right. And slow maturation, we know, allows for the coffee cherry to develop more cell structure and store more sugars. And in the context of Munyinya Hill in Burundi, this translates into a beautiful stone fruit type of acidity and sweetness. Now, on your serving boards, you'll find a double-sided information sheet. We're going to use this throughout our time together, and I'd like you to start by reading up on my definition of pre-pulping fermentation. This is going to serve as the foundation for our experiment and how it translates into everything you're going to experience today. So please, go ahead and have a read. Now, our coffee is of the red Bourbon varietal, and these espresso shots, they are for our signature course. We want them to cool down to room temperature, so we're going to let them do just that, and we'll come back to them later. But for now, let's dive more into that small-scale experiment we did in Burundi that explored the effects of pre-pulping fermentation. It looked and functioned something like this. We gathered a ton of ripe Munyinya cherry that had already been floated and sorted before we used them. We then placed them in 5 black plastic barrels similar to this one. We sealed them to make sure that they were airtight, then turned them on their side, turning them 90 degrees every 45 minutes to ensure an even weight distribution, but also to ensure an even fermentation within this new closed environment. And we did this for 6 hours at the washing station warehouse overnight, where we had a cool, stable, and dry temperature of 16 degrees. Now, when we opened these barrels, wow, I don't think I'm ever going to forget this experience. We were met with heavy aromas of plum wine and honey. The cherries themselves were even covered in a new sticky residue. And after comparing the Brix reading of the cherries after the experiment, Compared to those of the bricks reading from the cherries before the experiment, we found on average an 18% increase on the bricks reading. Now, bricks reading allows you to read and understand the amount of sugar content within the cherry. And this increase was a direct result of the cherries producing new soluble content. And this was because of the relationship and the fermentation between the cherries. And those 6 hours, well, that gave our coffee enough time, the green coffee some time, to absorb the new soluble content. And this is going to give our coffee added body and a new added floral sweetness. See, double check this. Wow. All right. Now, this became even clearer that this was the effect of our experiment after we compared our experimental lot to other day lots from Munini Hill just days before and days after our experiment. But how is just 6 hours of pre-pulping fermentation going to affect your espresso course? Well, if you could please write down the following notes. On the first sip, a medium weight with the flavor of cherry. On the second sip, plums. A juicy tactile experience like that of freshly pressed juice. A gentle dryness like a black tea. Hibiscus, and a lavender finish that is long and lingering. Now, for these espressos and for our signature course, I've used a recipe of 20 grams in and 40 grams out. This allows me to showcase these beautiful flavors, that floral sweetness, and the tactile experience in the most balanced way possible. When you get your espressos, I'd like you to do a visual evaluation as per normal. Then I'd like you to stir the espresso 10 more times. This is going to cool the espresso slightly down and mix those beautiful flavors together. Please place your dirty teaspoon in the white cup holder in front of you. There we go. And refer to the information card if need be, for a visual representation of your espresso experience. Please enjoy. There we go, and I'll be right back. Just a purge. Thank you. All right, good people. If you could please turn over your information card to find information on our milk course and our signature drink. For this course, I've upped dose slightly, 21 grams in and 38 grams out. This is going to give us more acidity and a higher concentration of espresso. For this course, I'd like you to take 2 large sips. On the first sip, look for raspberry muffin and butterscotch. In the second sip, the acidity will change slightly. And here you will find blueberry muffins and still that butterscotch sweetness. Alrighty. I'll be pouring about 1.5 centimeters from the top of this cup. This will aid in the shape of the cup will aid in that smooth texture. Please enjoy. Now our coffee was dried for 14 days until a moisture content of 10.5% was reached. Whoops. Please enjoy. When we roasted this coffee, we aim for sweetness and body. And we did this through a lower drop temperature and a more mellow curve. Please enjoy. Pleasure. I'll be moving shortly onto our signature drink. Enjoy. Thank you. Our signature drink reflects the goals of our experiments. By this I mean the ingredients chosen and the way that they were processed highlights more sweetness and body in this course. So the first ingredient is our cool down espressos. The acidity has risen and it's more sharper, but it's stable. We have dried blueberries and raisins, a black tea, passion fruit and honey, and a white tea. Now the teas and the blueberries and the raisins were cold brewed, giving us more sweetness and less acidity. I'm going to start by adding 30 grams of the cold brewed dried blueberries and raisins. This is going to bring the acidity back to that beautiful juicy stone fruit. 12 grams of the black tea. It's going to give the drink elegance. Then we have passion fruit and honey in the form of a reduction. We're going to add 8 grams of that. I've accounted for the waste. And finally, 4 grams of the white tea with jasmine. It's going to give our drink aroma. Now all the components and the recipes for these you'll find on the bottom half of your signature drink on the information form. On the nose, look for cherry blossom and lavender. This drink is designed to be slightly above room temperature, as at this temperature you're able to pick up sweetness and body more easier. Look for flavors on the first sip of plums. Second sip is apricots. And there'll be a candy finish that is sugary. It's been an absolute pleasure serving you guys. Remember, take in the aroma and 2 sips. Please enjoy. I truly hope that you have enjoyed this experiment from Munyinya Lot 16 in Burundi as much as I have. It's been a true pleasure serving you guys. Thank you so much for your time.